As Manchester United, Brighton and Newcastle all drop points this weekend. This is a crucial must-win game for West Ham, with the likes of Fulham and Chelsea, or now notably called the £1 billion bottle jobs by Gary Neville, and the Carabao Cup final. They're hot on our heels. Wolves have overtaken us this weekend after their win over Sheffield United a little bit earlier on today. It simply is must-win, because West Ham haven't won since the 28th of December 2023. If we don't win tomorrow night, it will mark over 2 months since West Ham won a competitive match in any competition. Must win is the phrase. Welcome back to West Ham Unofficial. I hope you are all well. You join us for the match preview of West Ham versus Brentford. I'm delighted to say Gary is joining me to discuss it. Gary, how are you, mate?
I'm very good, Jake. Yourself?
Yeah, not bad. I've had a really nice West Ham free weekend. I've enjoyed it. I've watched some decent football. Just watched the Carabao Cup final, which amused me mildly as well. And yeah, all good. Did you watch the final?
I didn't actually know. My wife's been away, so we watched some other TV, shall we say. Non-football related.
Non-football related TV, getting those brownie points in now. I love it. Right. And firstly, before we carry on, I'd like to say whoever decided to put West Ham on a Monday night this week deserves a pay rise, because it hasn't ruined my weekend, and I've quite enjoyed having the weekend free of West Ham. So it means we play Brentford on the Monday night football. And yeah, I'm not too confident. Gary, how are you feeling?
I'm feeling more optimistic now, Jake. I mean, after the last defeat, yeah, I am. I think they've had 9 days to train. I think the biggest surprise, as we discussed last time, was the fact that Moyes made no tactical changes. I think even he can see now that defensively we are all over the place. So I'm expecting some tactical changes. And we're playing our bogey team, Brentford, have beaten us 5 times in a row since they've been back. So I think he needs to change things, and I think he will tomorrow night.
Yeah, absolutely. Of course, after we eradicated the curse of Brighton, we now move on to the curse of Brentford. We've only beaten them once in the last 5 years. That was in the FA Cup with coincidentally a Saeed Benrahma goal. Competitively, that's the last time we beat them, and the only time we have beaten them since they came up to the Premier League. So yeah, our form in the league against Brentford is awful, woeful. If we go back to the return fixture 3-2 away from home, the moment that sticks out is that magnificent Mohamed Kudus bicycle overhead kick that kept us in the game. And I think that was actually, that game was the start of a bit of a decline, Gary. Would you agree?
Yeah,
there was some real naivety in that game. Ward-Prowse and Souček were in midfield on their own, I think, and it was really poor.
Yeah, it's bad defending. I remember the big centre half, what's his name? I think Collins, scored from a corner as well. There was an own goal, wasn't there? Was that Mavropanos'
own goal? Mavropanos' own goal, yeah.
Yeah, I think we shot ourselves in the foot, because I think Kudus is probably one of our best goals of the season. It's a brilliant volley, absolutely brilliant volley. He really announced himself. So it's very good. So we can score against them. We just need to tighten up at the back.
Absolutely. Hello to everybody joining us. I hope you are all well. Get your thoughts on this game into the chat. Brentford, a side that have been a bit up and down this season. I want to scroll down the Premier League table. I've got to keep scrolling, actually. Down to 15th is where Brentford are. They're on 25 points from 25 games, a point a game currently. Underwhelmed this season, probably gone under the radar because they're not really in the relegation battle solely. You could argue that they're in it, but they haven't really been discussed in it by the media to an extent. They've almost gone under the radar. No one's really talked about them apart from Ivan Toney and his return back in January. Seems to have rejuvenised them slightly. But I suppose if you take Toney and a couple of other really important players out of any side, they're going to struggle.
Yeah.
And they have this season.
Exactly. I mean, Ivan Toney, I think, is probably in the top 5 centre forwards in England at the moment. Yeah. And then you got Brian Mbeumo, however you pronounce his name. Yeah, he's a good player. And I think Thomas Frank always seems to be quite positive despite all the setbacks. I mean, their 2 best forwards have gone. And I think they'll be comfortable by the end of the season. They'll be sort of mid-table. They might even be somewhere around where we finished, to be honest.
Yeah, they could. They could go on up. I mean, to be fair, they could go at the table, but then again, when you look at it, they're 5 points off that dotted line. Luton are 18th now. They're 5 points off of them. So look, a few bad results, and they can get dragged back down into it. But no, I think they've got enough there. Whether Ivan Toney be at the Brentford Community Stadium come next season, that's another debate. But yeah, I think they've probably underwhelmed. It's probably the word I'd use this season, because they had a couple of really good solidified seasons in the Premier League where quite a few expect them to go straight back down, and they've managed to sort of put themselves and mark themselves as a proven Premier League side, and they've been a little bit lackluster this season. But to be fair, I think if their fans probably at this moment in time would take finishing 14th or 15th and remaining in the league, and then probably looking ahead to the future if they can get all this Ivan Toney business sorted out in the summer. Oh, Gary there. Oh, I think we've lost Gary. Just asked him a question and worked and didn't know why he wasn't speaking. I think we've just lost Gary. He has frozen. Oh, there he's back. Here he is. Gary, you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Okay. No, yeah, so I think it's going to be a tough game. I think Brentford are going to be good. And I think it's be interesting how Moyes sets up. I don't know what you think, Jake. How do you think he's going to set up?
Yeah, I haven't really thought about it, to be honest. I don't know. I mean, there's been murmurings of Lucas Paquetá coming back into the side, which concerns me more than anything else.
Yeah,
that he's being rushed back. We'll talk about that first. That concerns me. What about you, Gary?
Yeah, definitely. He needs to take his time. If he's not fit, he's not fit. No one can blame Lucas. There's still 13 games to go, 14 games to go, whatever it is. Need to make sure he's back for those games. I think that the area to address, without any shadow of doubt, is defence. We let in 3 at United, 6 against Arsenal. We got away with 2 against Forest, thanks to Areola's fantastic keeping. And
they should have had a penalty as well.
Oh, I mean, 999 times out of 1,000, that's a penalty. So we got away with that one. So we lost 3 or 4. Confidence has gone, so he needs to address the situation, and I think he will tomorrow. I think, personally, if I keep talking, he's going to go for a back 5 tomorrow.
Might mix things up a bit. I don't know. I'm unsure. I mean, I think what he will do and what I would do is 2 different things. If it were me, I'd enjoy with what the chat are collectively saying. I'd go for Mavropanos and Ogbonna if it was me. If I'm being totally honest, maybe Mavropanos and a Gerd, but I get Mavropanos in there absolutely tomorrow. I think he's been quite unfortunate to be left out of the side in recent weeks, where we've just, as you said, leaked goals for fun. We've tried to play defensive football, and our goal difference is -10 or something, and just about the top half of the league. 2 against Forest, 6 against Arsenal, 3 against Man United, 2 against Sheffield United, which is really poor, all things considered as well. You can go back further. If you're like 5 against Fulham, 5 against Liverpool, I can keep going. 4 against Villa this season. We've really leaked goals, which is I'll say it in the end. Uncharacteristic. There we go. Of what David Moyes is trying to present and trying to instill in this West Ham side, and something's not right there, whether it's the way they're being trained, whether it's themselves and the quality that they're probably lacking. I'm unsure to what the issue stems from in terms of defensive errors, Gary, but I know for certain I don't want to see Kurt Zouma starting tomorrow.
Yeah, I think the trouble is that, Jake, you look at our 4 centre-backs, you can't really pick 2 out, because Ogbonna is good defender, but getting too old now. Mavropanos, for whatever reason, gives the goal away. Bristol City, he gave one away. Palace, he gave one away. Scored another goal at Brentford. Zouma, his knees have gone. So we need to turn it around and flip it around and say, okay, the transfer window's gone. We made a mistake there again. But what have we got left? And I think we need to compensate. So Zouma, I still think, is positionally the best centre-back we've got. Instinctively, he knows what to do, but he just can't get there. So he needs cover there. Aguero, his confidence has gone, you can tell. So I would put Mavropanos, Zouma and Aguero in together, put 3 centre-backs to try and shore up and mark Ivan Toney and play wing-backs. I would drop Soufal and put Ben Johnson there, who's one of the few players to have a bit of confidence about him.
Absolutely.
Unfortunately, left-back, we've got no alternative apart from Emerson, who's also on a bit of a confidence crisis at the moment. But, he's going to have to play through that, because simply we have no one else, and Cresswell's not suited. So that's what I would do tomorrow.
Yeah, no, I think I'm inclined to agree with that. And yeah, I think you're probably right with the incentive in terms of the defenders, that you've got all the different defenders have got their own pros and cons, but none of them are currently coming together as a rounded centre half. Like if we could get four of them and just like put two heads together, and then like you could get sort of like, because they've all got and they all can't do it all. They've all got their certain things they can do,
Exactly.
but in the end, it's not enough there. And look, we're trying to put square pegs in round holes with these centre halves because I think they're simply not good enough. Some of them, if I'm totally honest, I think there's a player in Mavropanos. I think there's a player in Agurd, but I think the style of play doesn't help them collectively. I think Agurd isn't a low block, no nonsense centre half. He's just not. That's Zuma and that's Dawson, who we let go. Who's now flourishing with Wolves, who've just overtaken us in the league with a win today. And we just need them all to just come together and just, I don't know what the answer is with these centre halves from between now and the end of the season. I don't think there is an answer. We just have to get on with it and hope that this bad run of form and we stop leaking goals. I think that's the only thing we can do sat here anyway.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's clear to me we can't play two because we should have lost 4 at Notts Forest. Yeah. We let in 6 in half an hour against Arsenal. We lost 3 against Manchester United. Even the last clean sheet at Arsenal 2-0, I think they had like 32 shots or something. I can't remember. There's something clearly wrong with the structure, and I'm not Premier League manager, but he needs to change something. So I put the back 3 there, put Alvarez, who I think is excellent, in front of them. So then you've got some cover there, and then with the 2 wide wing backs gives us a bit of width, and put some more people in the centre. That's what I would do.
Yeah. Oh,
5-3-2.
Yeah. Maybe that is the case for sure. So there's a stat for you in the last 2 games. So just over 180 minutes of football. So against Arsenal and against Nottingham Forest, West Ham have conceded 41 shots on goal in 180 minutes of football.
Jesus, that's a lot.
And if I do 180 divided by 41,
4.5.
4.5 right there. That is just simply unacceptable. And do you know what?
Yeah.
I just,
and I think Areola is the best shot stopper in the Premier League as well.
He is.
So, without him, we could have lost a lot more. Arsenal just gave up, really. They got the 6. I thought this is getting embarrassing. Let's have a kick around now.
Well, Forest, exactly.
So we need to change them. I think Moyes has had 9 days. I think, if I'm correct in saying, our last game was Saturday week. Yeah, so 9 days. It's a long time on a training ground with nothing else to do apart from concentrate on this game. So he should hopefully come out with something different, than we've had previously. He has to, because no manager in history has kept the same back 5 when we lost 6-0 at home when he did. If he does it again, I mean, Jesus, you've got to take down the mental institute strapped in a white what they call padded jacket.
Exactly. That's the and that stat of just worked out and calculated is staggering. That's a shot every under, and it's under as well. It's a shot every 4.5 minutes of a game. Constant barrage.
Yeah.
An absolute barrage, and that's what's got to be stopped. And whether it means 3 centre halves, whether it means just basically trying to build just a wall there, we've got to shore up defensively. Before we do anything else, and if it means we've got to put the handbrake even more on, for goodness sake, we can't continue consistently to leak goals week in, week out, because our goal difference has taken a battering. And despite I didn't really want Liverpool to win the Carabao Cup today, but it means that the Europa League place has dropped down 1, so 8th will get you European football this season, if all things go to plan, which means 8th will be Conference, 6th and 7th will be Europa League, and then if we get the 5th spot for Champions League, the top 5 are going to be Champions League anyway. So look, 8th is going to be European football. And listen, do I think we're going to get there? Not at the moment. If you've got any hope of us getting there at the moment, I think that's admirable, because the morale, the confidence, all of it must be on the absolute bottom of the barrel.
Yeah, you got the perfect storm in. Unfortunately, you've got the confidence really low. You've got I think the players have lost trust in Moyes. We've had some difficult fixtures. Arsenal, Manchester United, difficult fixtures. So we've got Brentford coming up. We've got Burnley coming up. These are winnable fixtures, and somehow the players need to get back to the form. And Jared Bowen's been off the ball recently. Kudos has been off the ball since AFCON. Paquetá's injured. Our creativity at the front. I mean, you said about 41 shots conceded, Jake. I think in the last 2 games, I can't really remember us looking like scoring in any of those 2 games. So I don't know how many shots we've had on target, maybe 4 or 5 or something. Next to nothing. I mean, I watch both games now, and I just can't see that we even look like scoring. So,
well, yeah, exactly. I sat back last Saturday. It's 8 days ago now. I sat back last Saturday, and I remember just thinking, we ain't gonna score. How are we possibly gonna score? Like, I don't understand where we're gonna maneuver a chance to score from. If I'm totally honest, but look, it is what it is. And if this stat isn't enough for you, we haven't won a football match for 59 days.
Yeah, and we
We're in the middle of the season. We're in the middle of the season.
Bristol City twice, Sheffield United, all those things. I think we've got to draw a line under it. It's a lot of negativity around the club, quite rightly, because we've been. Don't forget, we were told we're moving this stadium to be next level, so we should be worrying about poor form, relegation, etc. We've got the 8th. I think it's the 8th best supporter club in Europe. We need to start showing some ambition. So Moyes has paid a lot of money. He needs to sit down, stop this. What's happening at the moment? I mean, the problem I see at the moment, you can't win any sporting match without passion, determination. There's no drive, there's no leadership. You need that in team sports, and hopefully, we need to get something out on the pitch. Because Zuma's interview says he does his leadership in the changing room. Well, what's the point of that? You and I could do that. At the end of the day,
Exactly.
When you're on the pitch, you've got to show some leadership. This is what we need.
Absolutely.
So the psychologists in the team, Nolan and everyone else, needs to get behind these players and say, come on, show some passion.
Having Nolan and psychologist in the same sentence.
I know, but I don't know. We need something. We need something.
We do.
Need some commitment, some drive, some passion.
Absolutely. Just a bit of want and desire. If nothing else, Andy says, please leave Paqueta to get properly fit, change centre halves, and steady the ship. Let's hope. That's the hopeful outcome of things. Johan Wieser's a good player as well, back for Brentford. As well. It's another dangerous outlet in the attacking sense. David Moyes is the issue with everything for me, and it's really difficult to disagree with you, and that epitomises the state of it, doesn't it? We're leaking goals with a defensive manager, and that just about sums it up. Cyclops, thanks for joining us. Wazim and Lee as well. I hope you're well. Wolves were lucky, apparently. I didn't watch it earlier against Sheffield United, but they've grinded out another win and they've moved above us in the league. And if we fail to win tomorrow, they'll continue to be above us in the league. And what Gary O'Neill's done there has been admirable. Andy says 90 days, one change the game at Moyes' sets up. Anything for 11th, 11th or 12th is where we're realistically going to finish. Does anyone feel confident for tomorrow? For the first time in a long time, I don't have an ounce of confidence, if I'm totally honest. And I might get called negative, but then the question I'd ask back is, where are you getting that confidence from? Like on the pitch, where are people going to know what I think we're going to win tomorrow? Where's that instinct coming from? We've had no indication of any positive form on the pitch, and the only thing we can hope for is a miracle. Gary?
Yeah, I sense that, and let's be honest, if you're a betting man, you say Brentford definitely going to win because the confidence 100%. Is low. But we're not going to lose every game for the rest of the season. At some point, it's going to change, and we need to make that change. A bit of belief to start with. If we get a good start tomorrow, maybe a bit of luck, maybe a deflected shot or some sort of mistake from their back four, to give us a chance to go one up, give us something to believe in, something to hang on to, and then we can push forward. I think it's going to be a tough game, and if we lose one goal early on and the shoulders drop, it's going to be a long night. But we need to have a clear plan set up, attack from the start, and try to get some belief back. It's the only way you're going to do get some confidence back is to be positive and try and work together as a team.
Absolutely.
These same players got us to 5th or 6th in the league. The same squad, same players. We've got some very good players there. I know we're missing Lucas Paquetá. I accept that, but we've got some really good players. They all seem to be off form at the moment, but it will come back. It'll come back.
Yeah, hopefully it returns tomorrow. Because on paper, when I look at my fixture list that I have above my laptop that I, have reference to on most shows, I look at it and I go Brentford, Everton, Burnley, 3 games on paper, we should win all 3. We should win all 3. At the very least 2. 6 or 7 points should be the bare minimum that West Ham require and need if we're going to be anywhere near those European places at the end of the season. It's going to be an indication. Go on.
No, I think if we lose those 3, Moyes will 100% certainly be gone. Even Simon would not stand for that. Especially Burnley, who are just one of the worst teams I've ever seen in the Premier League. Yeah, if they come to London Stadium and win, then he won't survive.
Hope not. If he couldn't motivate them after Arsenal, my expectations are very low. Hi guys, hope Mandy, hope you well. Did you read Benny's latest comment? Yeah, he had a little sliding at West Ham and how he's been treated better at Lyon. To be honest, I don't want to waste too much breath on it because it's done. He's going to go. Let's just move on because what's done is done. Fair play to him. Good on him and all that.
Yeah, exactly. But Ben Rama has given a lot more chances than Fornals, in my opinion. Let's be honest, Ben Rama's been rubbish for weeks. So
months.
Yeah, exactly. I've got no sympathy with him. Fornals I've got a lot of sympathy for, but Ben Rama had a lot of chances to prove himself and just did nothing. So Absolutely. He can do he can say what he wants.
Yeah. Andy says grass is always greener on the other side. Ben Rama needed the change. I wish him well. Do you think Moyes should try Kudus as a number 10? Somebody mentioned this the other week, and they sort of put together the point of you have your best player in the number, you have your best attacking player in the number 10 role, you have your most creative player in the number 10 role. And with the absence that seems like it's going to continue with Lucas Paquetá, unless Moyes just chucks them in there, which wouldn't at all be a surprise if we're totally honest. Would you try using the 10 and then you've got Cornet to put on one side and Bowen on the other and Antonio down the middle? I don't know.
Yeah, no, I think it's a good idea from Corky. Why not? He certainly needs a bit of freedom and a bit of he is creative. He is confident to attack players, which we need. Lucas tends to do it with his passing and his vision, and Mo does it more by attacking the defenders and doing more with his pace and his low centre of gravity, his half knock off the ball. So both of them have their different methods. But no, I agree with Corky. It's a good point.
Absolutely. See, Cyclops agreed with me. That I tell you what, that's your best line on a show for a while, Gary. That is. Known as psychologist in the same context, in the same sentence, made me chuckle too. I'll tell you what. Today has materialised one of the best commentary lines in modern football history from Gary Neville, may I add, of the blue £1 billion bottle jobs of Chelsea, which completely outdid any of the pre-made metaphor to Peter Drury today. I just started absolutely laughing endlessly when Gary Neville came out with that. You could just sense, I mean, I know you didn't watch it, Gary, but you could just sense the anger because he didn't want Liverpool to win, Gary Neville. He really didn't. And you could just sense the anger in him when he just let that out. Klopp's kids versus the blue £1 billion bottle jobs. And it was just...
Was it a fair result? I haven't seen anything.
It was quite a balanced 0-0. It was quite an entertaining 0-0. Both teams could have scored 2 or 3, but yeah, Chelsea fell apart a bit in extra time when Liverpool bought on all their 18-year-olds. So yeah, Liverpool probably deserved it on balance, but there wasn't a hell of a lot in it actually. And yeah, both teams had some really good chances and failed to convert, which was quite a surprise actually. Lee says, hi Jake, do you think if we lose to Brentford tomorrow, do you think Moyes will get the sack? I don't. I think he will remain in the job. If we lose to Burnley, I think it will be another story. But this one, I don't think much will change whatever happens, only if it's really drastically bad.
So Sullivan's gone on record many times, says 6 defeats in a row. That's his limit. And we're on 3 in the league.
Brilliant. Pundits next week, you're 10th in Europe. What are you moaning about? You're 11th in Europe. What are you moaning about? You won the... Honestly, all the cliches will come out on Monday Night Football tomorrow. And I doubt Jamie Carragher will be there because he'll be on the trophy parade. But you finished 6th, you finished 7th, you won the conference, you were semi-final of Europa League, you did this, you did that. They'll all come out tomorrow when talking about West Ham live on Sky.
There was a guy on one of the podcasts I listened to, and he was saying, to be fair to him, I can't remember who it was now. I can't remember who it was. But anyway, this guy was saying, look, it's about time us pundits shut up. We don't pay money to watch this every week. And they have a right to complain if they're bored. We should listen to them more. And he's spot on. That's the point. You know, it costs me between £100 and £200 every time I go. And it's dire. Really is. Really dire. And that's why I don't mind losing. There's a way to lose. We're not going to win every game. We're West Ham. But, we should at least attack Bournemouth at home. And games like that, I just don't understand it.
Exactly. Exactly. Start putting your predictions, into the chat, and we will read them out towards the end of the show. Kent says Everton will aerially bombard us and be strong defensively like a brick wall. I think they will beat us, and I've got no doubt about that as well. But I'm looking forward to going to Goodison Park. I like Goodison Park. It'll be one of our last opportunities to go there before it gets knocked down. And hey ho, Christmas miracle might happen in March. And I'm quite looking forward to next Saturday actually, because I think there'll be some rather sarcastic chants. And then it'll get quite bitter and toxic at some points, I think, unfortunately. But look, we're going to voice our opinions, and if it goes sour and bad, then we are entitled to voice those opinions, and believe me, we will. Calvert-Lewin hasn't scored for about as long as Ings. Guess what's happening? 20 games Calvert-Lewin has not scored a goal in. Oh, and who else plays for Everton as well? Is it Neil Maupay?
When was Calvert-Lewin's last goal, Jake? Do you remember?
Against West Ham at the London Stadium, was it?
Exactly. So he's waiting for us. He's waiting for us.
It's written in the stars.
Maupay hadn't scored for about 45 years until he played West Ham, and he scored then. So,
exactly. We are going to sit back and absorb pressure and look crap again, probably with our style of play, breaking out quickly from the back. The number 10 row is the most important position on the pitch, and when it's underutilized, then it shows throughout the whole midfield. And look, Ward-Prowse, Souček, and whoever else is in there is irrelevant really, because we're just so dire in midfield, and Phillips can't play because he's suspended, so take him out of the equation.
Yeah, exactly. Souček will definitely 1,000,000% play, unfortunately. So he'll be back in the team. I think Phillips has been given a hard press. I think actually he's quite a quick, creative player. He can pass the ball. I think he got a soft red. At the end of the day, he should have been wiser, but it is a soft red, especially when you see it on the same like what Casemiro did. It's just no consistency. So
no, definitely not.
We'll miss him tomorrow. So I think Souček will play alongside Ward-Prowse again, even though everybody can see it doesn't work. So we'll see. Yeah.
For sure. Is Gary Neville going to get in trouble about that? I doubt it. I thought it was quite funny, actually. If he does, that's a disgrace. Mandy says Benny's comments were related to the way he was treated, not his playing. Oh yeah, because he had a little dig, didn't he? But it is what it is. Graham Souness stood up for in the week. Actually, that was a rather surprise. Yeah. I'm getting confused now. Yeah, Neil Maupay plays for Brentford. Used to play for Everton. He's playing for Brentford. He'll play us tomorrow. We'll probably score, and he'll help us lose.
Well, I think Neil Maupay's only goal for Everton was against West Ham as well, if I remember rightly. Last season.
Yeah.
When we were there last year.
Oh yes, of course. That brilliant day out. 2-0 loss, sadly. I've put Tony as captain on Fantasy League, praying he doesn't score. The reverse psychology is admirable, Corky.
I like it.
I love it. Please, Moyes. Please, Moyes should play Kudus on the right front like Saka, or please Bowen and Kudus up front together.
That's what I would do. Bowen and Kudus up front together. That's what I would do.
Yeah, close together and actually playing off. That would be nice, wouldn't it?
Exactly. Let them run front, play off each other. So you two up front, we play 5-3-2. That's exactly what I would do. Yeah.
Exactly. So we've got this game, we've got the Everton game, and then we're going to go and sign Paulo Di Canio up, Gary, aren't we?
We are. He's probably still going. I don't know. He's back. Yeah, I think he'd play a good role. Actually, to be fair,
it'll be entertaining if nothing else, wouldn't it?
he never had any pace anyway. Unless he's still got the touch, and he should play.
Yeah. Exactly. You could have him in a sort of player manager role. Because he could probably do a better job than some of them in midfield. But for sure. It is what it is. So how are we crafting this 11 before we get on to predictions then? I'm suggesting a back four or a back five maybe of Mavropanos. I'd put Mavropanos in there alongside a Gerd and another centre half if back five is going to be explored. Emerson and Johnson I'd put on the right hand side. Yeah. Midfield, Alvarez sitting.
Yeah.
Ward-Prowse and anybody but Souček in there as well. You've got to have
Kudus. I think he will play. He'll play. I think he'll play Ward-Prowse, Souček, and Alvarez. And I agree with the previous comment. I'll play Bowen and Kudus up front free. I play a 5-3-2. That's what I do tomorrow.
Yeah.
Antonio on the bench. I think Danny Ings, we've discussed, as an alternative number 10, if we play well up front, he played well at Sheffield United, deserves another chance. But other than that, our squad is paper thin, unfortunately, at the moment, with Paqueta out injured. And we shouldn't rush him back. We should do what City have done with De Bruyne, bring him back in for 10 minutes, 20 minutes, half an hour, whatever, and manage him, because he's our best player.
Yeah, for sure. Zach, hope you well. He says Paqueta back tomorrow. Yeah, it sort of concerns me more than excites me, if I'm totally honest, because there's been rumours of he's being rushed back, and that doesn't surprise me when we were told 2 or 3 weeks last week. So yeah.
But again, Paqueta. Sorry to interrupt. Talk about Paqueta. Why did he play against Bristol City? For 10 minutes, he broke down, didn't he? Yeah. It's just pointless. It's really bad player management, and we've got to make sure we avoid this again.
Yeah. Oh, Moyes' man management is horrific. Whether it comes to fringe players, whether it comes to handling players with injuries and bringing them back at the right time, is absolutely woeful. Daniela says, yes, we need to win, but also fans need to stop overreacting all the time. Sometimes the players also need to turn up, and we've had chances versus both Man United and Bournemouth to get something out of the game. Look, I wasn't critical of a Man United game because the players turned up and did what I asked for, because we had a bit of a go. And listen, I didn't criticise that too much. Bournemouth, I thought, was a really poor game, and we were really, really fortunate to get a point out of that, which we did in the end. And I mean, for the rest of the games, it's just been shocking. And I don't think the fans have. I don't think overreacted is the word. I think they've been quite heavy-handed, but yeah, I think it's probably justified. I justify it absolutely, but look, it is what it is. There's photos of Paqueta in training. There's also a photo that came out earlier with Soufa putting in a challenge with his studs on Paqueta's ankle. I'm calm down, Soufa. Calm down, mate. Kent's lineup is Areola, Johnson, Mavropanos, Zuma, Agurd, Emerson, Ward-Prowse, Alvarez, Thomas Souček, Kudus, and Bowen. So he's gone for a 3
100% agree. That's exactly what I agree. Yeah. I've always liked Kent. He's a good lad, and he knows what he's talking about.
He does. He absolutely does. The only one I'd be a little bit sceptical there is Zuma, but if you've got Mavropanos and Agurd either side, maybe that would benefit him as well. That would be a plan that I get behind, if I'm totally honest. Yeah. I mean Prowse, Alvarez, and Souček in midfield. It's not brilliant. I mean, I prefer to find an alternative to Souček, but let's be realistic. He's going to play in with Phillips not there. So yeah, I think I'm in agreement with that. Gary?
Yeah, 100% agree. As I said, Zuma's, if you've got to criticise him, he can't run. So if you get someone behind him, like a sweeper position, he's fine. Because positionally, he's fantastic. He's always where he should be. He just can't do it anymore. He's got a body like mine, unfortunately. So he's just... but he's got a better footballing brain. So I think, his knees are gone, and we need to replace him in the summer. But that's the summer. Yeah. But I play
so maybe that's the compromise that we've got to reach until the end of the season as we play all 3 of them together, because then we get a slice of all of their games, which are good. Yeah. Hopefully it can all merge together and we can stop leaking goals. Maybe that is the way. So then Corky comes in, juxtaposes and says he must not play Zuma. He is injured and needs a rest. It's crazy, and confirms Moyes' stubbornness. If he plays him with Agurd or something, I think that's absolute lunacy, if I'm totally honest. But if he plays him merged in between Mavropanos and Agurd, I think I could get my head around that, if I'm totally honest. Cyclops says, I do wonder why it takes so long to recover from some of these injuries that don't seem serious at times. I think, it's the same with Antonio. I think he's had the injury and he's just been pushed back a little bit by another minor niggle. That's what I understand from it.
Because go on. Our squad is so thin, we have no choice. This is the trouble as well. How many senior players have we got now? Probably 17, 18 push. We loaned out in winter. We loaned out Kera, Ben Rama, and Fornals, and we brought in Calvin Phillips. So our squad's down by 2, and he doesn't trust the youth. So, by definition, if I was Mabama and Scarles, I refuse to sit on the bench because they know they're not getting on. For some reason. Yeah. You see, Man United, I guess they started another academy trainee. Liverpool bring players on all the time. City bring players on, and we don't, which is a weakness on our part. Yeah, 95% of fans would prefer to see a young homegrown player come on, have a game. He might probably have a shocker first time. It's a tough league, but we'll appreciate his effort. He will certainly run his heart out. He might make a few mistakes, but we don't care because he's a homegrown and he's playing for his team.
And Moyes is compromising with a different approach to the same thing week in, week out. Trini's watching Freiburg at the moment, and they're playing like us. Yeah, if you want a little bit of an insight into our Europa last 16 opponents, they're currently playing live on Sky Sports Arena and Sky Sports Mix. They're 1-0 up currently, just into the second half against Augsburg. I'm not watching it, but our roving reporter Trini reckons they're playing like us. So this is going to be a fun 2 legs if things continue for both sides like this. Andy's 11 is 4-2-3-1. Front 4 of Kudus, Ings coming in, Bowen and Antonio, Alvarez and Suchek, or James Ward-Prowse, but not both. Mavropanos and Ogbono as the 2 centre-halves. Emerson and Johnson as the full-backs. Different interpretations. I'm not quite sure what Moyes is going to do. I mean, there's that option of that back 5 there as well, which he hasn't explored for a while, and I think it could be the time for that. He needs to play Johnson, the only positive out of our awful run of form. Absolutely, 100%. He needs to reward confidence, and the only player with a bit of confidence currently is Ben Johnson, so give him another go and keep him in one position as well, because this season he's played centre-back, left-back, right-back, centre midfield. He's played both wings. That's 6 positions. That can't be doing him any good.
No, but we need to get his contract sorted out. I don't know what the issue is. I guess it's money as always, but we need to get that sorted out. Get him signed up.
I don't know whether it's money. I reckon it's game time, if I'm totally honest. I reckon he's not being promised the game time he wants. That's my gut instinct.
But there's very few players you can promise they're going to start. Very few in any team. I mean, out of our squad, who would you promise they would start? I'd probably say Paqueta, Kudus and Bowen.
Yeah.
Alvarez. Yes, Alvarez. Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah.
Not many more though, is there?
No. So Johnson says, I don't want a guaranteed start. And I'm sorry. You say, well, you're not going to get. What other Premier League club would give him a guaranteed start?
True. Yeah. I don't know whether it'll be as frank as probably a guaranteed start, but I think he's probably getting frustrated with probably the lack of game time. He's probably demanding just a bit more. I mean, I don't know. I'm not Ben Johnson's agent or Ben Johnson himself, but maybe he's just saying, look, I could probably go to another side, a little, maybe a Crystal Palace, for example, or an Everton, and get a bit more game time potentially. I don't know. I'm not a Crystal Palace or an Everton fan. Yeah. That's just 2 examples that stereotypically I'd associate with playing a player like Ben Johnson and starting him more often, and maybe that's what he wants, just some more consistent game time, because he has over the last couple of seasons he's gone through huge stints of not playing at all, then he'll play a few games, then not play at all for a while, and that must be frustrating for him as a young lad, and they've got to try and maneuver a way around that and find a compromise, because if not, they'd be waving goodbye to yet another academy graduate. And I think this one has got a bit of potential in him if we play him and stick him in one position and tell him, right, you're gonna have 6 games in this position no matter what, unless you get injured, show us what you're made of. I mean, they're not going to do that, but that's the sort of thing that he will want to see, and then that will probably make him sign the contract.
Game time is a good point, because I think tomorrow, if he plays his 100th appearance for West Ham, bearing in mind he's been here since God knows when, 6-7 years now, which is not many games per season. But I think he's a hard player to position. I don't know what his best position is, to be honest. I think he can't be a right back long term because he's too defensively weak. But I think he's got something on the ball. He's very tricky. He's got a bit of pace. So maybe I don't know. It's a tough one, Ben Johnson. I like him because his versatility, which completely counteract what you said. But that's my personal view. But
fair enough. Yeah. No. Look, I admire his versatility, but I think for the players' benefit, I think getting him, cancelling him down to a couple of positions would make a huge impact. And you are right. I've just said, look, if he plays somewhere, that'll be his 100th appearance in a West Ham United shirt. He's played a total of over 6,500 minutes for West Ham, and he's been here a long time. A long time.
When was his debut? 16, 17, something?
I don't know.
City away, wasn't it? City away his debut, I think it was. Yeah, I think it was. Or Liverpool away. One of the really hard games it was. So City
it was, away, I remember. Yeah. I'm trying to find out when his first his first game was. The first time he played for West Ham was the first time he played for West Ham properly was in the 18-19 season. He's been on West Ham's books since 2016, playing in the under-18s. Yeah, and his first Premier League game was in the 18-19 season. Yeah, just over an hour. I don't know. Don't ask me against which side, but
it was. I remember watching it. It was City away at Liverpool. One of the really, really hard games. Yeah, I thought to myself, poor lad, coming in for this. Yeah. He's marking like Mo Salah or Kevin De Bruyne was really difficult.
Fair enough. Right, let's get on to your predictions, and then we will start wrapping things up. Emerson is another one you probably add to that 100% start list. Currently, I'd agree with that one. Gary says in extra time it was only Liverpool that I went in. Yeah, I agree. I agree, absolutely. You also need to make Alvarez captain. I can't disagree with that one either. So, yeah, predictions, start putting them into the chat. Desmond says, Dad, 2-2. I don't know where you reckon we're getting 2 goals from. I'm struggling to get 1 goal. No wonder 2 currently. So I admire that, absolutely. Kent's going for a loss, 2-1. I think that's perfectly viable in the current situation. But yeah, I mean, there's a couple of 2-0s in there as well. Of course, Kent comes with a good. City away was Johnson's debut, a 1-0 loss. He played centre midfield in the youth team. We did. There we go. He comes with the goods. City away. You are correct in that front, Gary. And now I ask you, Gary, for your prediction.
Jake, I should bow. You are the prediction king at the moment in our league.
Oh, thank you. You didn't have to mention it, but thank you.
You are the daddy, so I bow to your expertise. But if you let me go first, I think we're going to draw 1-1.
Yeah, and I very rarely I very rarely go against West Ham, but I've made a new a new vow to myself is that on Super Brew, if I don't think we're going to win, I'm going to say we're not going to win, and I did it last week, and it's starting to work, and I did 1-0 to Brentford tomorrow. So that is my prediction, and I'm currently looking quite handsomely with that golden cap on the league, which is looking very nice. I'm narrowing the gap. I'm narrowing the gap to Dad. Look, there's very few points in there. So yeah. And I did like your little write-up in the group, Gary, with my name on it. I did like that. I did see it. It's very good. Yeah. Well done to Jake. I was like, oh, thank you.
Well, you were the top man last week, to be fair.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Yeah, 1-0 West Ham's my prediction. Gary's going 1-1, trying to weak a little bit of positivity and a point for West Ham. And look, I'll join you again tomorrow for a build-up show, an hour and 15 minutes before kickoff, where we will reveal that lineup, whether it's a back 4, back 5, will Paqueta play? All of those questions I will answer tomorrow evening. And Gary, final thought?
Come on, lads. This bad run will end at some point. Hopefully it'll end tomorrow. We'll get a point or 3 points and start to look more like the old West Ham we all want us to be.
Yeah, hopefully so. And some final predictions: 2-0 Tony double, 1-1 if we are lucky. 1-0 or 2-0 to the away side. Can't see us scoring. Corky says, at least with Phillips out, he can't play a 5-man centre midfield. Kent is being specific with an Ivan Toney goal assisted by Jensen. Kent's pictured and he can envisage what's going to happen before it happens. And if that happens, Kent, go and buy the lottery, mate. But yeah, thank you very much indeed, everybody, for watching. I'll rejoin you tomorrow for the build-up show and then reaction very quickly after the game, where I'm probably going to be ranting again, which isn't fun. But look, that's the reality of it. Gary, pleasure as always. If you go tomorrow, try and enjoy it. Just get yourself a pie, because that'll be the highlight.
Yeah, I'll take a mortgage out and get some food at the London Stadium.
Yeah. Absolutely. From us, come on, you irons. We will see you soon right here on West Ham Unofficial. Thank you very much. We'll see you soon. And who knows, we might break that curse of 60 days tomorrow and finally win a competitive football match. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.